Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World. Do I have something special for you today? Indeed I do, indeed I do. I have the K45, the K Rifle Guitar. I don't know whether to aim it or tune it up. Very small of body, it would be fair to say. And the headstock. We'll have a closer look in a bit and I'll show you the specs. I'll show you some sounds as well. Now, like most guitar purchases, there's a long story involved, but to sum up, this was advertised on Facebook Marketplace in the Edinburgh area, and I saw it and I thought, I really fancy one of these. I remember seeing them back in the day. These were only made in 1981. My understanding is they were made by Cort in Korea, just for 1 year. I don't know why it was just for 1 year, maybe not that popular. They were made as a travel guitar because it is very light. So in the video I'll be going over the specs, the sounds of the guitar, and we'll be talking about how it plays great, but how it has one almost fatal flaw. But I'll get to that at the end of the video. So let's have a quick look at the specs. So here's a first look at this K45. It seems to be made of 5 pieces of wood, brass bridge. Now I think those are the original control knobs. Going by the pictures I've seen of other guitars, it has a pickup selector switch and a phase switch for when it's in the middle. Now here's the first issue, there's no screws or springs for the bridge pickup, so I may have some spare. I'll look at my parts drawer. So there's a few dings around the edge. It's an old guitar, but the grain on the wood is really beautiful. The grain on all the pieces of wood actually, it's fantastic, few dings there. Now on the pickups around on the neck pickup, it's broken in the middle there and at the edge, so I'm not sure if I'm going to take that off. I don't have a spare one. I had a quick check, so I will have to try and source one of those. So the fret ends, certainly had a few years to bed in. There's no sharp ends on that. The strap button has been moved by the looks of it. The fretboard itself is in very good condition. Frets need a polish. I mean, they're not too dented or anything. I don't know how much it was played. But again, the grain of the wood here, spectacular. Well made guitar and made of quality wood as well. So when we go up, we have a brass nut on these guitars. A bit dusty there, we'll have to clean that. So the tuners don't have any name on them. Now the brass plate there, truss cover, I'll show you a video in a bit. I got a surprise, I thought the name had been scored off, but it appears not. So there's the back down the fretboard. Looking good already. It's in decent shape for a guitar from 1981. So flipped it over, here's the back side. I think I'm still allowed to say that on YouTube. So the string through ferrules, and now the strap lock sort of button thing at the end is really quite strange. Under a big piece of brass. Again, look at all the grain on the wood, 5 pieces of wood there. A few dings around the edges, but nothing major. I have guitars in much worse condition than this. Got a chunky neck as well. I will show you the neck measurements in a bit. A few dings there. Skunk stripe down the back. It's comfortable feeling neck, I have to say. It's got a volute as well. And there's the other strap button at the top there. So the tuners have no name. The top of the headstock's a funny shape. It's like for prizing out screws or nails or something like that. So yeah, a comfortable neck, guitar in decent shape, nice wood as well, as they say. Here's a control cavity. I think that's all the original pots. Doesn't look like anything's been changed. 500k pots. Very neat control cavity. Made in Korea, as I said, so by Cort, I think it was made by Cort. So good craftsmanship in there. Everything seems to work as well. Many switches, one for the pickup control and one for phase switching as well. So there's underneath that brass plate that was on the end of where the The strap goes, so it's just like a round rod, and the strap goes around that and sits underneath that brass plate. There's the screws that came out of the cavity cover. It's a wee bit rusty now. What I do with these is I soak them in WD-40, and that seems to take off the worst of the rust, and then dry them off and before I put them back in. After that disaster I had with the old WD-40, after the disaster I had with that vintage Les Paul where they snapped, so I try and clean them off a bit before I put them back in. So there's the cavity for the bridge pickup. So there's no markings on these pickups, no name or anything like that. I've seen people say they're like the Marzio Super Distortions, but I will show you the pickup readings in a second. Again, the routes are done very neatly. Now I haven't taken the neck one off because with that crack there, I think the whole thing will fall off and I don't want to have to glue it back together. So I think I'm just going to order a new one of these. I'm going to try and source one on eBay. So here's the bonus I got with the truss rod cover. When I turned over, it's just been put on the wrong way around to hide the K logo. So it does have the logo, which I've turned it the right way around now. So let's look at the finished item, all cleaned up. Here it is, ready to rock, all clean. I took the bridge to pieces, cleaned it all up, put it all back together. I've got the screws and the springs for the bridge pickup. As I say, I never changed anything on the neck pickup. Fretboard's all cleaned, the frets have been cleaned and polished as well. It's looking good, and I've got to say it's playing really good as well. Up to the brass nut and the proper truss rod cover as well. So there it is, the K45 Rifle Guitar, otherwise known as the Austin Hatchet in the United States of America. Cleaned up very well. It's in good shape, I've got to say. It's not pristine by any means, but certainly in very good shape for a guitar of this age. So let's look at the measurements of the neck. The nut width is 42.68 millimeters, and the width at the 12th fret 50.7 millimeters. The depth at the 1st fret 23.87 millimeters, and the depth 12th fret is 24.63. And here's the neck profile. So it's quite a chunky neck. It's not the biggest neck in the world, but certainly bigger than a Gibson 60s profile. So let's look at the measurements of the pickups. 9.15 for the bridge, 10.35 for the neck, it's a bit higher, and in the middle is 4.99. Now the scale length is a Gibson scale length. And here's the best thing, it's just over 2 kilograms in weight. Now I did quite a bit of research online about this. Now the K Guitar Company is an American company formed in the early 1930s, but it seems to be by the end of the 70s they were just used for importing guitars. Guitars were imported with the name K, but still using the same badge. And these were released in the UK and in Europe as the K45, K45, known as the K Rifle Guitar. And for some reason in America they were known as the Austin Hatchet. So it does play really nice, I have to say. It feels great, it's a nice feeling neck. These pickups, I think they may be go-tos. These sound brilliant, I have to say, clean or overdriven. The only thing that lets it down is the most uncomfortable guitar to try and play when you're sitting down. It's almost like I can't find a way to get this sitting. I mean, the only way I can get it to almost sit properly is to like have the strap really short and playing it up here. I mean, I think it may be more comfortable while standing up, but it just seems to be, I don't know, like this is thick. Almost like you need to kind of hold it with your wrist when you're kind of over the top, you know, when you're playing. It took me ages to find a position when I'm doing the music in this video where I could play it properly. It's unwieldy, I would say. I mean, it is almost like a, you know, like an axe, like a hatchet. You could play cricket with this. You could use it as a burglar deterrent. You know, if somebody breaks into your house, you could introduce them to your little friend. I'm not suggesting any violence, by the way. I'm not going to get banned off YouTube. This is unique, I have to say. You can put it in your carry-on luggage. Now, I would say there's one thing here. If you rocked up to an airport with this in this case, like this guitar in this case, you would get armed police called. People would think you have a shotgun. You've turned up at the airport with a shotgun or something. So it remains to be seen whether I can travel with this. I mean, I'll have to be really upfront and say, this is not a weapon. I mean, it's a weapon of rock and roll, obviously, but it's not a weapon that I'm going to threaten people with. So yes, there we go. So you've heard some sounds. The final part of the video, I did like a whole track, kind of indie punk pop. So there you have it, the K45 Rifle Guitar, made in Korea in 1981, only made for 1 year. Very rare guitars these days. But when I saw this for sale, I thought, I'm just going to buy it. I need to have one of these. I need to own one, play one and see what it's like. And I need to share it with your good selves. As ever, folks, it's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsy's Guitar World. I do appreciate you watching. Cheers for now.